I'm Bambi Francisco for Vader News. Well, amid reports of automotive bailouts and double-digit declines in car sales, one company is doing just fine. Zag recently raised $37.4 million, and joining me to talk about Zag is founder Scott Painter. Scott, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Well, congratulations on the round. How was that fundraising in this environment?
Well, I mean, fundraising takes a lot longer than most people realize. We were fundraising on this round for almost a year, and a lot of the turmoil in the economy and a lot of the things that happened in automotive have really happened in the last 6 months. So I think the fact that we got the financing done is a real testament to the fact that the company is holding its numbers and that we are doing well despite the decline in auto sales, fundamentally because people want to save money on a car, and that's what we are all about. So the fact that we were able to maintain those dialogues through the downturn and then close the financing, I think, is obviously a really positive proof point for the company. And it obviously sticks out now, given not just the venture capital community and what's happening in terms of new fundings and follow-on fundings, but in terms of automotive.
Right, right. Well, how GM, I believe, just announced that they're laying off 10,000 workers. You have a lot of consumers not buying cars. The auto industry is definitely in the tank. How is this affecting your business?
Well, there's no question that top-line demand is down. I mean, demand is down for car sales across the board. Credit is harder to get. We're a growing company, so we can sort of paddle through some of that just in terms of new acquisitions, new customers, new partners. But we're also really honing our business, and we're seeing that for example, our conversion rates or our close rates at the dealership are 10 times what traditional lead gen and some of these other marketing channels are. So I think that we are seeing that even the customers that we have and that we retain, we're selling more cars because we're able to actually offer a better service in this kind of a market. We're learning a lot, and I think that companies that can really refine their business model in a downturn really come out of that downturn surging.
And your customers being the dealers?
So we have really two primary constituents. I mean, we've got dealers that we work with, and we're a performance-based marketing program. So dealers pay us just based on sales. They don't pay us for introductions. So our interests are aligned with theirs. We have no intent to bring them just simply as many quantity introductions as possible. We want to bring quality introductions. Our second constituent is affinity groups and their members. And so we work with AAA, USAA, American Express. They do the marketing. They private label these programs to their membership, so they really pass on the goodwill and the trust of their brand, and then their customers come into the program and end up buying a car through that channel.
Okay, and you take a little bit of a piece from both sides.
So we're not taking any fee from the affinity group, and we're not charging the customer at all. We get paid by the dealer, and it's a flat fee, and it doesn't matter whether it's a Hyundai or a Porsche. It's not a commission. It's not a brokerage type situation. It's performance-based marketing, and in a lot of ways, I don't even know if Web 3.0 is a term yet, but I think the idea of advertising becoming more accountable is certainly consistent with the times. And going up to a business owner, and in our case, a dealer, and saying, you don't have to pay unless we perform, is a pretty valuable proposition to them.
Right. So how many cars did you sell last year? It was double from the year before, right?
Sure. So last year we were just under 30,000 cars. And obviously, it's a 10 million car new car market. We sell both new and used cars. We think there's tremendous opportunity to grow.
In both new and used?
In both new and used. And obviously, we've seen a large pickup in interest in used cars in the last 4 or 5 months. And so I think that there's a lot of things about our business that really revolve around the new car value proposition in terms of upfront pricing and sort of the commoditization of the car that we really excel at. And I think that it's harder on the used car side. That said, a lot of these affinity groups and their brands are able to really gain the loyalty of their member. And so it does work for used cars as well, and our members do save a considerable amount of money and time and
Well,
energy.
I want to ask you about the savings because that's key.
Sure.
But what kind of flat fee are you getting from the dealers per car sold?
Sure. So the average dealer spends between $500 and $700 on a per car sold basis, and that's obviously a hyper generalization. Some dealers spend a lot more.
With you?
No. I'm just saying in
Overall?
general. So dealers, their willingness to spend is in the $500 to $700 range on a per car sold basis. We charge just under $300 when a car sells. So we represent about a 40% reduction in cost. The key is that the dealer has to be disciplined enough not to spend the other money as well. Okay. Because then they have a sort of a higher dollar cost average. So I think dealers are looking for more accountable forms of advertising, and we work closely with our dealer partners to make sure that if we bring them incremental sales, that they begin to ratchet back their costs in other areas so that they can deliver those savings.
So is it fair to say that you made 300 times $30,000 cars that you sold last year?
That's one of the metrics in our business, sure. We actually generate revenue from a number of different sources. We have licensing fees from different partners, in some cases in our early partnerships, and we do a number of different things that generate revenue. And different states also have different laws. So not in every state, that business model does not apply in every state. We actually work as a subscription model in some states based on the laws there. So,
how much revenue are you doing?
We're a private company. We don't disclose our revenue numbers, but we are growing, and we're growing year over year at a pretty good clip.
So I'm in the market for a car. So the last couple of questions, I'm in the market for a car. How do I go about finding good deals or using Zag to get a discount?
Sure. So I think probably, as we continue to roll out these programs for affinity groups, we hope to be able to cover every American through one affinity group or another. So if you're a Capital One customer, if you're an American Express card holder, if you're an Overstock customer, if you're a AAA member, if you are a USAA member, all of these organizations are part of the Zag network today. So if you go to any of those brands, you'll be able to tap into our savings and get that better experience, better process, special dealers, the whole thing.
So I would go to a AAA, I'm part of AAA, so I would go to them and say, I'm looking for a car?
That's correct.
Okay, not go to the car dealership and say I'm part of
No, and we offer all of our programs via the web. So if you go to AAA.com or any of the other, if you're a USAA member, you would go to the USAA website. They have an autos tab, and you would begin shopping right there.
What type of savings are you getting a consumer?
It really depends on the car, of course. But in general, we have sort of a metric that we watch, which is the average overall savings on a per car sold basis. And so we're saving the average consumer that uses us about $1,500 over what they would have otherwise spent.
About how much?
$1,500 on a per car sold basis.
Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll have to use your service to look for my next car, my next minivan.
I would love it if you use the service.
Okay, Scott, we wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Scott Painter. He is the founder of Zag. I'm Bambi Francisco.